At 30 years old, he was worth $26 billion, the golden boy of crypto. The biggest politicians took his money, Tom Brady did his commercials, and the smartest people in finance called him the next Warren Buffett. Then, in a single week, it all vanished, and $8 billion of his customers' money vanished with it. His name is Sam Bankman-Fried, a messy-haired kid in shorts and a t-shirt who built a million-customer empire, told the world he was here to save it, and pulled off one of the biggest frauds in history. And the scariest part? He almost got away with it, because everyone wanted to believe him. Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, was never normal. The son of two Stanford law professors, a math obsessive who breezed through MIT, he didn't care about money for its own sake. He believed in something called effective altruism, the idea that the most moral thing you can do is get insanely rich so you can give it all away to save humanity. So he set out to get rich. First at a secretive trading firm called Jane Street. Then, in 2017, he spotted a glitch. Bitcoin was selling for thousands more in Japan than in America. He bought it cheap in one country, sold it high in another, and made millions almost risk-free. With that, he founded his own trading firm, Alameda Research. But the real prize came in 2019 when he built FTX, a slick, easy crypto exchange where millions of ordinary people could buy and store their coins. And here is the key to everything that followed. An exchange is basically a bank. People hand you their money to hold. The number one rule, the sacred rule, is simple. You never, ever touch it. And then, SBF did something brilliant. He made himself impossible not to trust. While other crypto bosses flexed Lamborghinis, Sam wore the same wrinkled t-shirt and cargo shorts every day, slept on a beanbag in the office, and played video games during billion-dollar meetings. He looked too scruffy, too nerdy, too obsessed with saving the world to be a crook. And he was everywhere. A Super Bowl ad with the comedian Larry David, a Miami stadium with his name on it, endorsements from Tom Brady and Steph Curry. And in the 2022 elections, he became one of the single biggest political donors in America. Everyone, investors, journalists, senators, wanted a piece of the genius boy who was going to save the world. Almost nobody looked behind the curtain. And behind the curtain, the sacred rule was already broken. Here is what was really happening, and it's simpler than it sounds. Sam ran two companies that were supposed to be completely separate: FTX, the exchange, the bank that held millions of customers' money, and Alameda, his private hedge fund, the casino that made huge, risky bets. The rule was a wall between them. Customer money inside FTX must never flow to Alameda. But Sam built a secret door in that wall. When Alameda's bets started losing, he quietly funneled FTX customers' money through that door to cover the losses. Billions of dollars that belonged to ordinary people. And how do you hide a hole that big? With magic money. FTX had printed its own coin, called FTT, out of thin air. Sam used that FTT as if it were real cash to make Alameda look rich and healthy. Think about it like this. He opened a bank, secretly gambled away the customer's savings, and then filled the empty vault with monopoly money he printed himself. As long as nobody asks to see the real cash, the illusion holds. But all it takes is one person to look inside the vault. In November 2022, one person looked. A news site published Alameda's secret balance sheet, and the world saw the truth. This giant fund was propped up almost entirely by FTX's own made-up coin. Then came the kill shot. The boss of FTX's biggest rival, the exchange Binance, announced he was dumping all of his FTT. The price of the magic money started to crash. And that triggered the oldest nightmare in finance, a bank run. Spooked customers all rushed to pull their money out of FTX at once, billions in a matter of hours. But the money wasn't there. It had been gambled away at Alameda long ago. The vault was full of monopoly money. In a matter of days, a $32 billion empire collapsed into nothing. FTX froze withdrawals. 1 million customers watched their savings simply disappear. $8 billion gone. The golden boy became the most hated man in finance overnight. In December 2022, Sam was arrested in the Bahamas and dragged back to the United States in handcuffs. But the knife in the back came from his own inner circle. His closest lieutenants, including Caroline Ellison, the head of Alameda and his on-and-off girlfriend, all turned on him and testified for the prosecution. They described in detail how Sam directed the whole thing. In November 2023, the jury took just a few hours to convict him on all 7 counts: fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering. And in March 2024, the boy who was going to save the world was sentenced to 25 years in prison and ordered to forfeit $11 billion. The judge said he showed no real remorse. So what was Sam Bankman-Fried? A cold, calculating thief? Or a true believer who told himself that if he was saving the world, the normal rules simply didn't apply to him? The effective altruism he preached, get rich to do good, became the perfect cover for taking other people's money. He wasn't stealing, he told himself, he was just borrowing it for a higher cause. And that is the real lesson hidden in this story. The most dangerous liar isn't the obvious villain in the expensive suit. It's the scruffy kid in a t-shirt who is so convinced he's the hero that he never even notices the moment he becomes the villain. Sam Bankman-Fried didn't just steal $8 billion. He proved that the easiest person in the world to fool is the one who is sure he's saving it.